do you want to make a documentary about burping? They would laugh like you are
Right.
now. And then I think, coming from advertising as well, you're always trying to solve problems about like laundry detergent or booze and trying to sell people that. And
Yeah.
all the people that I brought in, they were like, yeah, I just want to make something fun and dumb and
Yeah.
make something that can be beautiful.
Good day, filmmaker Victoria Trow of the technically and beautifully shot film ERUCTATION. Victoria, how are you today?
I'm doing great, actually. How are you doing, Benjamin?
I am well. I hear that you go to South by Southwest on Wednesday. Your film is screening March 14th and March 17th on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being, I guess, just like the most excitement you've ever had in your life. Like, how excited are you to be flying to South by on Wednesday?
I am so excited. The last time I was in Austin was for a wedding, and then weirdly, my husband actually then moved to Shanghai for 6 months. So it was a really like emotional time. And
Not your
not
wedding.
our wedding. Imagine that. I love you. I love you so much. Bye. And I found this beautiful note from the last time we were in Austin, and it's just a love letter. And so I was reading that last night, and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going back to Austin, and it's such different feeling, but this letter's amazing, and he's coming with me, so that's very exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's not planning on a visit to China like after this.
Not that he's told me about yet, but who knows with him. Yeah, he's more excited than me. Yeah.
So the film is incredible, and I wanted to start talking with you about it at the beginning, but then I thought your whole career led up to this. Like, all the things that I love about it, I think happened in your career in advertising. So walk me through how you got started. And one of the quotes I read, you saying 15 years in advertising and 15 years plotting your escape, which makes it sound like it was like bittersweet for you. So like, how'd you get started? And then how did you decide to make this film?
Sure. So I didn't grow up around any filmmakers, any writers. All my family, they're in like business. I don't really know what some of them did. But yeah, I was always good at writing at school. Teachers would call that out. I was terrible at science and maths, so they were like, please don't do anything to do with that. So it kind of pushed me towards writing, but then often told me, oh, you go to a careers counselor, and they're like, you could be a teacher. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. But I had a boyfriend who worked in advertising, or he was studying design, and he had someone called a copywriter, and I was like, what the hell's that? And I saw some of their writing, and I was like, oh, maybe I could write professionally like that. So somehow I ended up in advertising. I managed to do that. And I've always loved films and loved books. And some of my favorite writers started out in advertising as copywriters. And I started writing on the side outside of work. I would write scripts. I wrote some really terrible ones that hopefully no one ever sees. And yeah, I get to spend time on shoots and meet directors on sets for commercials. And I think, oh, that's the coolest job in the world, but I'll never be able to do that. I'm a writer. I'm totally a writer. And then as I went up in advertising and got promoted to roles like creative director, and you start to oversee everything, and you get way more immersed in what the budget looks like and how to spend the money and things like that. And yeah, I'd get to spend all this time with amazing directors on sets for commercials, and they were always really encouraging of me as well, all these directors I'd work with. And my creative partners that were the art directors, they'd always encourage me a lot as well. And I always thought, nah, I'm a writer. I'm a copywriter. I can barely do anything in Photoshop, let alone, I don't know what these lenses are, but I know that I like this lighting a lot.
Right.
I can pull you 100 references, and I know why I like them, but I can't talk to you about the technical side of things. But yeah, I wanted to make something, but I didn't want to direct. I wanted to just write, and I'd write scripts on the side of advertising and send them to friends. And directors always want to direct their own stuff, I've discovered.
Right.
And people started to say, you should try directing something. And yeah, I had a lot of imposter syndrome around that. And then this project literally burped in my face. So I thought maybe this is the one to try it. And people encouraged me to do that as well. So I don't know. That was a really long walk for a ham sandwich. Not entirely sure what question, but yeah, 15 years in advertising, always with the goal of leaving it and being a
Well,
writer.
what didn't you like about it? So, was it just because you weren't able to write your own stuff? Like, it felt like you were sending it into a community and it didn't always come out the way you wanted it to come out?
No, I think I actually was looking back at my advertising portfolio, and I really like a lot of the work I've made. I think it's
Right.
beautiful and it's cheeky and there's a lot of me in the advertising work. I think I always just wanted to write longer things, and I think in advertising we don't associate that it's art, whereas filmmaking is art.
Mm.
And I think that maybe it's my own snobbery that I always wanted to make art. Maybe it's some of that. Yeah,
Hmm. That's it. That's really interesting. And
yeah.
so when you decided to make this film, why
Mhm,
this particular topic? So I'll tell you, Victoria, when I saw like an
mhm.
email on it, it's just what? Like the first reaction to it is it's very strange. It's not like it draws your interest, but maybe not always. I don't know. Like, what are people's reactions to the film from your perspective?
Yeah, pretty much that, yeah.
Yeah.
People also, when I was talking to people about making it and saying to people, "Do you wanna make a documentary about burping?" They would laugh like you are
Right.
now. And then I think, coming from advertising as well, you're always trying to solve problems about, like, laundry detergent or booze and trying to sell people that, and
Yeah.
all the people that I brought in, they were like, "Yeah, I just wanna make something fun and dumb and
Yeah.
make something that can be beautiful," because the vision that I wanted was to really elevate the burp. But yeah, I think that reaction's it, and
Yeah.
my DP, he was making a bunch of ads, but then he just come out of his own documentary called The Goldfish Club, which is about a plane crash. And people like our gaffer, he does a lot of reality shows, like dating reality shows in Tulum. So he was like, "Oh, I wanna make something beautiful." So it was, yeah, the pitch to people is your reaction. Yeah, people laugh and then they're like, "Wait, is that real?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
So it's about a woman going after the world record of burping, and it's
Yeah.
such a tight, concise film. And it's a documentary, it's not a comedy, but it obviously was influenced by your advertising work.
Mhm.
So comedy in
Mhm.
advertising, isn't that the hardest thing? Like you think about like big events where they have like specific ads and you think about you're watching and you're like, wait, that wasn't funny. But then you think about the team of people that put together that ad, like it had to go through across board after board of people. And
Yeah.
so is comedy the hardest thing to do in advertising? And then how did you know you had the right tone in this film?
Comedy can be really hard in advertising, I think, but it tends to be way more the kind of ads in America compared to
Okay.
the UK where I'm from. I don't know if you got the accent. Or
I hear people confuse you with Australian, but I'm like, she sounds very British.
that's what I think. Whenever someone says, "Oh, what part of Australia are you from?" And I think,
Feel like you don't know accents.
yeah, I'm like, but how much Australian movies do you see compared to like how much British culture gets over here? But yeah, with advertising as well, with comedy, you can write the funniest script in the world, but to your point, comedy is so subjective, and if it has to
Exactly.
go through your boss and then your boss's boss, and then it has to go through a team of strategists and account people, and then it has to go to the client, and then it has to go to their boss and their boss. The purity of an ad and the comedy of an ad, if it makes it through and it makes you laugh, then that has just the initial joke or the initial idea was just so strong that it made it through.
Mm.
With this, there was no boss. I was the boss. I got to decide. I think that what I really love about the premise of my own film, am I allowed to say that? Um,
Yeah, it's all the film is amazing. You are
oh,
allowed to
thank
say it.
you. But
It's true.
what I love is
Objectively true.
oh, thank you. I'm really proud of it. I when I first heard Kaylee burp and I complimented her on her burp because I can't burp, I'm more from a long lineage of farters. But when I complimented her on her burp, I genuinely meant it. I think it's so cool that she can produce that sound. And then she said, "Oh, I'm gonna go for the world record for loudest female burp." And I was like, "That is just such a great idea that you're going for this world record. Like, I wanna know everything about it. Please tell me everything about it." And the arriving at the tone, it was so born of all my conversations with Kaylee. And
Mm,
I just love the idea of treating something so everyday and kind of stupid. Burps are hilarious, so are farts. Let's make a burp joke, but treat it
right.
seriously with reverence. And because Kaylee was treating this goal of hers with seriousness and reverence. And I also love the idea of taking a burp, which societally we think is a bit gross, but treating it in this beautiful, elevated way. And that's why we shot it the way that we did. And it looks the way that it does because, yeah, I just wanted to elevate it. And some of those beats where I think people will laugh, I actually rented out a movie theater on my own and I went and watched it on my own. So I was just like, I just want to have a moment with this. And it was just me and the projectionist, and he was
What?
just
That's so
laughing.
cool.
It was like a 500-person movie theater, and I was the only person in it. It was so cool. And then I left and cried because I was like, "Oh my god, I made something."
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah, all those moments that he laughed at, those were the moments that where they just came out so naturally in the edit, and they're the people that when I've watched it the moments when I've watched it with other people, they just, like, giggle or laugh, and yeah, it was and I was laughing at my at this film that I've watched that probably 1,000 times.
It's not a comedy. It's not made for the laughs. Like, you did a
No.
great job of making it for the walking you through, like, different decibels, so it shows a lawnmower, just a leaf blower, stuff like that for the decibel count, and it's funny as, like, an addendum as part of it, but it's not, like it's hard I guess it's extremely hard film to describe, like,
Mm,
to people, like, they say about burping, and think and it's funny, they're imagining sort of this joke a minute, but it's not
mm,
that
mm,
way, so I
mm.
think it is really fantastic. How did you come up on the 6-minute runtime? So that's the other impressive thing. I looked down, I'm like, "Wait, she packs all this into 6 minutes? Like, how did that happen?"
I said when someone went, "How long do you want it to be?" I think it was max. I went, "It's gonna be 6 minutes." And I just plucked that number out of the air.
Wow.
I just I thought 20 minutes might be too long for a story just about burping.
Right.
I thought 1.5 minutes
Was a commercial. Yeah.
is a commercial, and we could have done it really rapidly. Part of the I can explain it to you, the burp needs to be louder than a leaf blower, a lawnmower, and a blender, like that, and then that's your documentary. That could have been so fast, but with these visual ideas, I wanted to yeah, you needed to have a bit of time for that. But I really going back to the advertising thing, I thought about every single moment of this, every single
Mm,
frame, every single setup. And I really thought about in this setup, we will talk about this. And this is what I will ask Kaylee about when I interview her during the documentary. And in this section, we will talk about this stuff. And then in the last part of it, the final act is all about just that moment of her going for this attempt and giving that its moment. So yeah, it was really everything, every single thing was highly considered, but all built from Kaylee and what she does.
right. Yeah, and I'm not gonna ask you to criticize anyone else's work, but are you when you're watching other short films, are you thinking, "That man, you needed to edit"? Like, it just is crazy that the majority of short films are usually longer than 13 minutes, and some and particularly larger, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Are you thinking, "Man, you needed to edit this"?
No, I just went and watched the documentary shorts for the Oscars, and I was a mess. Oh my god, I was, like, hysterically crying by the time I left that movie theater. And then I had to go for dinner with some friends, and I don't know if I said a single word during dinner. I think I'm with those it's so dependent on the story, right? When you're
Okay.
watching the Armed with a Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Ratner, I could have watched 3 hours of that. I was
Yeah.
so absorbed, and it was the yeah, just the journey it took me on, and I still think about some of those shots in it, so I think every minute of that felt so intentional to the story. But yeah, I
That
think the I don't I watched Seurat the other day, and I that's a long movie. I think it's 2
yeah.
hours, but it felt like it was 3 'cause I was
Yeah.
so captured in it. But I heard that his script was really thin, and I said that to my husband because there's barely any dialogue in it.
Right.
But then it's like, how does the edit expand as well? It's really interesting to think about it in that term as well.
And what a spoiler in that movie, like, you're just shocked, you're by about halfway through about what happens, and you're like, "Oh, man."
I love going into I tend to read a lot of reviews or get really obsessed with movies I'm gonna go see, and that one I didn't read anything about it, and I'm
That's
so
smart, yeah.
glad I didn't. It was the sound was just fucking amazing.
Are you gonna be on Letterboxd reading reviews of your film?
No, I haven't got an account. Should I get one?
If you're into reading reviews, and
I
are
don't
you
know.
gonna
Are there
be
any
like
on there?
what's that?
Are there any on there already that I should know about?
I have not looked, but I assume so, like, I've read some of the reviews of the film, and all of them have been great, but
Oh.
just if you are reading reviews, do you read reviews about either advertising or your own film?
I've always said that I'm really bad at advertising because I don't have any subscriptions to any of the ad weeks or whatever. Quite often when we're brainstorming ideas, instead of referencing other ads, I'm referencing movies or music videos. So I couldn't really tell you anything about advertising. But movies, yeah, maybe I'll have a little look on
Yeah,
adaptation. I think I saw one review that said you'll either love it or hate it, and I loved that. I thought that was a great thing. As a Brit,
right,
I love Marmite. That to me is the perfect thing. I didn't You don't want everyone to just think, "Oh, this is great." You want people to have
right,
reaction, like, the
exactly.
film is it's about burping. There's a big sound in this. It's
Yeah,
visceral and absurdist, and that's totally not everyone's taste, and also
right.
about documentary, about sharing perspectives that we're not often exposed to. It's quite different maybe from what we typically think of as a documentary.
Absolutely, and you mentioned the color palette. I can't leave the film alone without talking about the color palette. It's got tons of greens. I read that it was based around Oregon, Portland, so you had that atmosphere in it. It also felt like it was just, like, from the 1970s, like, there was,
Mm.
like that the browns, and it just was just like a time machine to a place.
Mm.
Walk me through that decision of just, like, how you came up with such a, like, film that spoke about where it is and gave you that sense of place.
Yeah, I was reading back through the treatment. I wrote a little treatment that to send to people and for Kaylee, and I wrote Portland, this should feel like Portland in the rain. So when
Mm,
you're outside, you've got the greens, the evergreens that we're surrounded by. And when you're inside, it should feel cozy and warm, all the deep woods really leaning into that and the reds of
yeah.
logs. And also, Kaylee's favorite beer is Coors Banquet, which is gold. And I thought that was just a gorgeous color. And then her wardrobe is super 70s and very rich, and her apartment shot in her world. So it is very born of where we are, but also how she is and how she operates and how she dresses. So yeah, I really wanted to create a palette that felt right. And then we used this camera called a Sony 9000,
Ooh,
which is a refurbished one from the 90s that
really?
help bring out the richness and the warmth that we were going for. And luckily, it had a B4 mount on it, so we could put amazing lenses on it. But that camera just added so much to it and how it looked as well.
Look at you, the person who's "I'm just a writer," talking like cameras and lenses. If you went back and told you when you started that you would be doing that, you'd be just probably really shocked.
Yeah, I think so, and when you shoot ads, I think more and more ads are starting to be shot on film as well, which is really cool, and so you do get to learn bits and bobs like that along the way, but yeah, it was a really cool camera that we shot on. It's giant, and actually it has tapes. They look like VHS tapes even though it's digital.
Huh.
So that was and they've been out of production for 20 plus years. So those had also been
Wow.
refurbished. So there was a bit of we don't even know if this camera will work. We had an Alexa Mini just in case, but we just used that for one slow-mo shot.
Yeah, no, it definitely shows. So, you'll be in the theater again for both screenings. When you're going to that flight to Austin and at South by, what are you going into this thinking? Are you thinking, "You know what? I just wanna meet as many filmmakers as I can. Do I wanna work on my next project?" How are you going into the film festival?
Yeah, I think all of that. I can't
Yep.
wait to meet more filmmakers, and what was really cool, I went to a filmmaker meetup in LA, like an orientation, and we learnt about what happens at South by Southwest and how to get the shuttle bus, which was so helpful. And I met a lot of the documentary short filmmakers, and everyone is just so awesome. I cannot wait to go and have a happy hour together and celebrate this moment that we all get to share. So yeah, I'm so excited to meet people, and I've taken 2 months out of advertising to just write. And so I'm showing up with some projects and
Got it.
we chat to some people about maybe some hopes and dreams for the future. But yeah, I can't wait. I'm trying to really be super present and enjoy it all and
Right.
not doom spiral. So that's what's
That's incredible. So, what are you working on now? Can you talk about any of those projects?
sure. I don't know what I can and can't talk about, so fuck it. I have been transitioning the idea of eructation into a narrative feature. So
Ooh,
expanding this realm of world records, and it's just so much fun and so much joy. I am obsessed with people, and people do amazing things like going for the world record for loudest, but equally like highest backflip on a pogo stick. And it's just yeah, that's just been so much fun to write and think about. So I don't know how to make that happen, but maybe it will down the line. And
and
then
you see yourself jumping between narrative and documentary?
yeah, I think I always thought I would write narrative, and then
Okay.
some of my friends are, like, shocked that I made a documentary as the first thing I made. It felt more achievable maybe than some of my ideas for narrative shorts needed way more money, basically, than I was thinking about them because 'cause they've got, like, snakes in them and miniature Shetland ponies, and making a documentary about a burp just felt more contained
Yeah.
and more achievable, so maybe that's why I also did this. Everything else felt too big, maybe. Or, like, making a 3-minute animation about maybe I won't talk about that one because 'cause I'll have to say the word dick a lot.
That's that is wild. Do you feel like more filmmakers should take the chance of? Because I imagine there's some people who graduate from a top film school and be like, "I'm
Mm.
not gonna make a film about burping." Do you feel like more people should just take a chance of just finding ways to connect with an audience through uns not unspoken, but, like, novel ways? And I feel like this film does that. It connects with the audience in a way that you're not expecting.
Yeah, I don't know if I've got great advice for upcoming filmmakers because I don't know if my
Well, you're at South by
route
Southwest, so
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I think with this project, s don't be afraid to talk about your ideas, I think, is a really probably the biggest advice because I spoke to people about making a documentary about a burp, and the feedback I got was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I'll help you. What do you need? Do you need me to buy water or do you need me to bring snacks?" And yeah, I pulled a lot of favors and I managed to get a lot of favors through advertising. Ryan, who did the color, I worked on him on a target job. I was able to pull people in, which was so awesome that they gave up their time. Yeah, I think just why not? If it brings you joy as well, and this
Yeah.
project brought me so much joy. So yeah, like why not? Like why not try it?
Love that, Victoria. So obviously a huge part of your success has been helping others. That's how you were able to make this film, and I think that's how so many people saw you as a director when you saw yourself just as a writer, your
Mm,
ability to help other people. So indie film podcasts love supporting other people's projects like you do. Is there a film or filmmaker out there, either at South by or through other things that you've encountered that you wish more people knew about?
okay, I've got a few. Mike Egan, he is an amazing director who has just been such a support to me. I tried to give him this project. He was like, "You should direct this." Maybe he didn't
Did
know I
you
was
really?
him. Yeah. He is phenomenal. I know him through advertising, and then he made a film called Bronze, which premiered at South by Southwest maybe 5 years ago. And then he's been directing commercials, and he's got a couple of amazing projects that he's told me about. He's so awesome and so funny. He makes me laugh so much and just so kind, so kind. And then when all the films got announced for South by Southwest, a director called Victor Gabriel reached out to me, and he has a film in the shorts documentary program called I Got My Brother. And his first film premiered at Sundance, so he's established and he's so awesome, but I just thought it was so kind to reach out to me, and he's just been so encouraging about this project. And then I met him in LA, and he's so cool and awesome, and I cannot wait to see his film. I think it's produced by Breakwater Studios, and yeah, he's just a phenomenal guy and also a licensed therapist. And can't wait to see his film, and he's just been so encouraging of me.
That is incredible that you had those offhand too, Victoria. That
Yeah.
is quite impressive. So if somebody wants to keep track of your filmmaking, what's the best way to do that? I think you have a website, you have Instagram.
My website's all advertising, so maybe ignore that for now.
It's still no, seriously, it shows your journey. Like, I feel like
Sure.
watching some of those ads, and then, like, you also have an old Twitter account I saw, like, with comedy, that I don't think you've touched in, like, 10 years, but it shows, like, your journey of why this film was like, I feel like if somebody else did this film, it wouldn't have that same sort of comedic, like, element to it that you bring, like, specifically, that I think it makes it really unique.
Oh, thank you so much. God, you're saying the nicest things. You're so
It's
kind.
true. That's a great same thing with you're saying, like, I can have whoever I want on the podcast. I never have somebody on here although I do think it'd be interesting to be like, "I didn't really love the film." Like, how
Yeah,
did
no,
that go?
tragic.
Would they be like, somehow
Yeah.
ins or would it be like a great conversation? I'm not bold enough to try, but in this case, I loved it, so, like, why not be honest and compliment?
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, the other way, I guess, to get in touch with me would be on Instagram. I just
Yeah.
fired that baby back up. It's a hell pit, but it's also great to connect with people. Yeah, Victoria Trow. It's just
Are you anti? Because I do it because I have to,
yeah,
people promote. Are you, like, one of those people who are gonna promote this and then be, like, shutting it all down, turning off social media, you'll see
maybe.
me again when I put up my next project?
Maybe. We'll see how it goes, 'cause it has been so awesome to connect with people
Yeah.
and be in the loop of film festivals and what directors are up to. I think that's really cool. There's definitely a big reason to stay, but yeah, I took a 5-year hiatus
Wha
from Instagram and then came back on to activate this film.
Well,
So yeah, right off into the sunset. And then I was just thinking then about advertising, because you mentioned about it shows my journey. I was
mm,
watching The Moment, the Charlie XCX
ooh,
documentary shot by Aidan Zamiri, and actually a commercial I shot with Charlie XCX was in the movie.
wow,
Yeah, was funny because it's all about the commercialization of art. And then
right.
this ad we made was a commercial where we were commercializing on her art. So very funny. I loved that. It made me laugh.
Pardon the pun, but she's certainly having a moment.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you see that coming when working with her, that she had that sort of creative intelligence to go after all these different types of projects?
I saw her in 2019. She did a tour
Okay.
and I went and I was just like, she is phenomenal. This energy it was one of the best shows and it was like in a small venue in downtown Portland. But yeah, the support act kept calling her the greatest pop star of our generation. And then watching Brat Summer, I was like, no, she probably is the best pop star of our generation. Yeah, that energy. And I think she's a tour de force. I can't wait to see what she's up to.
Don't you feel like more artists don't you feel like artists in general compartmentalize their skills when they shouldn't? Like, they think, "Oh, I'm a writer," but you can do so many other things, and we're missing out on so many different pieces of art because people are afraid that they're not gonna be as successful. But chances are, if you're up the world's greatest pop star, you're going to have other talents. It's not just like
Mhm.
you're one trick pony and you can only do one thing. I
Mm.
feel like our world just tries to compartmentalize people and make them like, "But this is your thing. You're not a director." And it's, "Fuck it. Just do what, do what is best expresses your feeling."
I think that's so true, and I think well, if I think about Charlie XCX as well and think things like Brat and how much vision there was, I think she's a visionary, like, to be
Yeah.
have this idea of, it's not just about a song, it's about the album artwork. It's about the poster that we're gonna put up on Sunset Boulevard and the words that it says. It was a whole vision and it was a whole world that she built, and of course, then to be able to do that, of course she's gonna be able to do that in other things because 'cause she's got vision, and maybe there's something about being a creative director in advertising and how you see everything that might help me. Maybe I'm a visionary. I'm joking. But that being able to see that, have a vision of this is the idea, this is how it comes to life, this is how every single frame will look. I think that there's yeah, maybe I can bring creative directing to directing as well.
Yes, we are gonna leave it with saying you're a visionary. I am
Hey, you
completely
said it, not
with you,
me.
but it's true. Just watch the film at it's gonna be at South by Southwest March 14th, March 17th. Have you thought about, it's down the road, but, do you want it to have a longer festival run? Do you want it to be on a service where people are able to watch it? What are your goals for the film over the next 6 months?
Yeah, I think I'd love to go to some more festivals, premiering I guess maybe it's this California premiere at Amdocs in
Ooh,
Hot Springs at the end of March, and then hopefully we can go play it in Europe so I can get some of my friends along over there. But yeah, it would be great for more people to see it. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I didn't really make it. I didn't really know why I was making it. I made it and I'm figuring it all out afterwards. I made it to make something for me. And going back to the beginning of the interview where you said you spent 15 years in advertising and 15 years trying to get out. And this was my what is outside, but thinking nothing will ever happen to it. So if it goes more places, that sounds amazing and I'm down for the ride.
love that. Victoria Trow, this has been such a phenomenal conversation. The film is ERUCTATION. Check your website for more dates for the festivals and your Instagram, which hopefully it'll be up throughout for the next, at least for when the film is running. This has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me today on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Ben. This has been so fun.